test. Ooh, there are people waiting. Excellent. Minute. Let's view the waiting room. Keep going. Minute. Okay, that's going. Spotlight on me. Yay.
So can you
How you doing?
doing good? How you been?
Good. That. Over here. Well, I have this up. I'll mention this. Blackboard. It's messages, the email thing that you have in your class, don't use that for me. You can use it for anybody. Do not use it because I don't know when it sends. It doesn't give me any notice at all. If I'm lucky, there'll be a little thing that'll pop up here with a number, but I've got no idea what actually triggers it. I was just in my last class and as I start clicking into it, it's like, I've got one in here apparently. When I clicked into it, it's actually from last year. Right? And it's not an uncommon thing. This is one actually, that person, she'd actually sent me an email outside of that. Thank God, because otherwise I wouldn't have seen it. I had another one in here I thought I had left unread because it was, I think the last time I taught this course or someone sent it to me and I was like, I was watching it and I didn't get notice of it until after the class ended. Don't send that. I don't trust that. Use regular email, that kind of thing. Probably kind of hard to get hold of as it is, but we'll talk about that when we get into it. Let's see, this is not the right school. Courses. And so search methods. I've actually got two versions of it. And depending on which class you're enrolled in, what level you're at, really. And whether you're considering masters, if you are, it's like you probably want to move over to this graduate level one. AVP program, that kind of thing. You've not talked to me about that. Basically what that is if you're interested in graduate education, one of the things you can do is take fewer classes by getting rid of the overlap right here. So rather than learning it at the undergraduate level and the graduate level, you're just going to take it at the graduate level because this one's going to be a class that's kind of sewn in where we'll have some graduate students who some might attend live. Most of them probably be online watching it after I post it up because their schedules work and that kind of thing. But we might have some in here. So basically what's going to happen in this class is you're going to get it from the point of view of someone who's a complete novice. And then the point of view of someone who's a complete novice with huge expectations. No, I'm just kidding. In terms of huge expectations, we'll talk about that in timelines and basically what I want to do this semester in this class is some really cool stuff. We'll see how that goes. We got 2 more minutes. Over here. I think there we go. Yeah, so let's move this over here so I can see everybody. And the problem is now I can't see anybody. See it right here. All right. So this is research methods. And the graduate one. One more minute. Big things. Sherlock Holmes. Anybody like Sherlock Holmes? He's been on my mind a lot as of late. Not because of actually Sherlock Holmes himself, though. Some of it ties into this class, which we'll have a healthy conversation about that when we start talking about reasoning and logic. Because those, there's a few different ways to go through and understand things. And this class will teach you how to understand things. Logic and reasoning are really powerful ones. If you know where they apply and realize that they don't always apply, right? If you're in criminal law, I showed you that earlier. That's bees or fish in California. It's like that's the legal system. It's like they literally classified them as that because of it wasn't EPA protection, it was something like wildlife protections, that kind of thing. And so it's like, yeah, biology says bees and fish nowhere near the same thing. Legal, they're the exact same things. Like, no, they're not. But we have to treat it in some way the same. Here, right, it's over here now. Here, what we're doing is this is how all things work. So if you're going to understand how all things work, that's a hell of a task, right? That is really intense. And so we're not gonna be able to teach you how all things work, we'll teach you how some things work. Right? For you, it's gonna relate to the topics that interest you. But we'll get into that. It is officially 11 o'clock. So we are sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people in here. 13 is a good number for today. I don't remember how many people told me that they were only gonna be able to send it online today. All right, of course, that means some people were watching early because I only started opening the class up yesterday. And I sent out notice this morning. You guys got that email? Good. And so if you hop into Blackboard, you will see that it looks like this. It's over here. Also, the whole share screen thing. I can see where my mouse is. Screen. Gonna be this one. Yeah. Okay, cool. And I'll hit me. Also, that way you can bounce back to see they're the exact same. Right. Okay. So this is the undergraduate version of the Blackboard shell. So we've got two different Blackboard shells depending on what class you're enrolled in. If you're enrolled in the undergraduate one, you'll see the 4,000 level one. If you're in the graduate one, you'll see the 5,000 level one. The Blackboard shells themselves, though, will mirror each other. In terms of work, the things that you do, I'm actually not going to separate out the actual tests that you do. Sometimes we do it like that, where it's, if you're going to take at the graduate level, there's going to be more number of assignments or work in that way. It's like, no, what I'm going to do there is you're going to do the same kinds of things. It's just the level of how to go into is going to be much, much deeper at the graduate level. So being at the undergraduate level, you guys are a little bit lucky that you're going to get your toes into the water, so I won't make you dive in head first, that kind of thing. But there are opportunities to do that if you want to. You don't necessarily know how to swim, I just I'll make sure you don't drown. That's it. With this one, research methods is a hard class for people because sometimes the number side of things scare people. There's two big types of research that we do in this area. That's qualitative and quantitative. I'm more of a quantitative person. I do like the numbers. They're easier, they're faster, that kind of a thing. And that kind of gives you a structure already to put things to. That'll come back up later. I'll bring it to you back in a second. Qualitative, the quality of things. Those can be any number of different things from interviews to I'm studying the social dynamics of an entire neighborhood, right? And it's like there's a wide range of things there, and some of those things you can quantify, but not always, right? And so those types of things are interesting, but they're a little bit more difficult in some ways because if you go into the number side of things, numbers have meaning to them, right? 0 is nothing, 1 is something. The difference between 1 and 2 matter. The difference between 3 and 4 is the same as the difference between 1 and 2. And so you've got a structure you can use there to kind of fit whatever you're dealing with to it. That's kind of why I like that, but I'll show you how to do that at some point. So you got logic and reasoning, and you got the number system, you got all that other stuff. Sherlock Holmes comes up a lot because of logic and reasoning. What you'll see there is a person in stories who has the ability to put things together, right? That's what we're going to be doing in this class. Everything that we deal with, whether it's the specific languages that we use, specific words that we use, concepts usually is the thing we start talking about, concepts. If I say a chair, it's like, okay, you think of a chair, it's like, you have an image of a chair. How many of you actually picture a chair in your head? Some of you, okay. Is it wooden? No, it's got 4 legs. Hell is this thing then? Right? It's a chair too. Oh, well, I can sit on this thing. Is that a little chair? No. Right? And so there's some play in there whenever we have to deal with concepts too, same way as that. And kind of see the different ways that people play with it. We'll get into that. Here, that's going to be a really important thing because what you'll see in society is things aren't going so well in society right now, are they? Look like the world itself in general. How many of you guys have good feelings about that? Not so many. Why is that? I'm off topic. This is methods class. I get to do that.
Everybody's so divided on everything.
That's part of it. You know why? Part of it's that definitions thing, right? We can't have a common understanding of a way to communicate with each other. makes it really, really, really hard. So in some ways, this can also be for doing that. The biggest thing here with this is, well, understanding that there are entire bodies of literature associated with any topic that we get into, whether you're dealing with theories, whether you're dealing with concepts themselves. Like if I said, a good one for this class I usually mention because it's something that if I mention it to you, you're gonna have a very real thing come to mind. And then whenever I talk about the way we use it in research, it is not that very real thing that came to mind. It's racism, right? So the word racism, it's like pictures that people get, what, you know, whether it's an experience or an image or video or just something they read, or I don't know, any number of things that people draw on. That kind of image that they get is pretty consistent, right? You say racism, most people are thinking about, oh, okay, you know, we're talking like, you know, pointed hoods and, you know, fires and things like that, or we're talking about something else. But it's something where it's like one group of people hates another group of people based on, I don't know, culture, color of skin, whatever, the fact that they're different, who cares? You come over here and it's like, okay, the hell is this institutional racism? Systemic racism? What is this cumulative disproportionate thing that we see across these things? It's like, it's not the same thing. It can be the same thing. You could have one person who's making those decisions at some point in that system saying, you know, I really don't like people of this group. I'm gonna make sure that these people are punished more. You can't prove that. You can't say that. What they do is they come up with the concept of something that's different. Identify the similarities. And people who are not really following at that, they don't see that those are two different things. And then the next thing you end up with is this whole thing is racist. And we need to get rid of it. It's like, no. It's not true. Okay, hold on, I might need something. Who's talking? Here, move over here. Stop sharing. Looks like I got it already. Excellent. Good on you. That way there's no feedback. Thank you for that. I was gonna call you out. Back over here. Back to share. It's this one. Cool. All right. So in this one, welcome message. Check Blackboard twice a week. What'll happen on this pretty early in the semester, I'll get to where I post everything out. I'll be like all the PowerPoints and that kind of stuff. Here, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of a different approach. I want you all to be thinking about things that interest you. All right, so if you think about that while I continue talking, I'll start posing some questions to you all. Okay, so check Blackboard, that's the welcome message. Course overview. This is criminal justice research methods. If you're in graduate level, research methods for criminal justice. If you're an undergraduate, basically I just call it methods. It's just methods. In the class, you'll have 4 tests, 4 assignments, approximately 8 quizzes, attendance, participation. If you're in graduate, did I change that one there? We're gonna have it the same way. Let's take a look. I can't see that. Over here. Now I can see it over there. Okay, so this is the graduate level one. Same message, same thing. Okay, so the assignments in here, that's what it is. So the assignments in here I have set up a little bit differently than the assignments in previous classes. Between the assignments and the quizzes and that kind of thing, those won't be the kinds that you're used to. Those will be the kinds that you use to develop ideas. Basically what they do is they'll scaffold together to build something bigger. So I'm going to section some things out for you. Most of it's weighted more towards the beginning of the semester, so we can develop a project in some time. And then again, if that opportunity presents itself where you can actually go and present in October, and that's a manifest. It's like, we'll look to have that open for you, right? So what we're going to do is get an idea for what kind of things you're interested in. I'll start identifying places where you can find data to kind of get you at least somewhere in the neighborhood of what you're trying to do. And with that, I'll also start to scaffold you guys in together so I can get you working on something even bigger together. Let's see here. So that's how that's going to work. When it comes to course learning objectives, of course, there's a whole bunch of them. And they should be the same between both. And we'll just bounce back and forth. Yeah, they're the same. Basically, we start talking, what is a construct? Anytime we start dealing with concepts, that's what you're talking about. What is it we actually mean when we say something? How do we operationalize things when we're going to measure it? what do we actually mean? What are we actually measuring? Because there's gonna be a literal measurement here. On the qualitative side, it's gonna be, this theme. We saw this theme repeatedly, occur across people. This is what that theme was. It's, pick your topic and identify a theme for it. Let's see. Describe measurement. Yeah, same thing. Relation between measurements and design, right? Whether you're talking design, whatever way you collect data, to some degree you influence how you get the data, right? So you have to be able to identify that, pull that away, because you don't want that to influence your findings. Let's see. Different sampling methods, different methodologies, quantitative, qualitative, mixed methods. Mixed methods is ideal. That's where you get a little bit of both. It's hard to do because you have to match two areas, right? From there, it says different types of data analysis, evaluation. Evaluation processes are going to be the same processes as your methodological processes because it's the same thing. You're assessing things, you're measuring things and seeing what's actually taking place. And then let's see here. Different forms of experimental research, that kind of stuff. Experiments are interesting. We'll talk about that pretty heavily, particularly when we get into the ethical sections. That's where it'll first come up. We'll talk about the design itself, what it does, but we'll talk about things that people have done with it. It's like, ooh, there's some nasty stuff there. There's some cool stuff there. There's also some really, really evil stuff there too. That'd be like me talking with you about our knowledge of hypothermia. Where does that come from? I'm like, that comes from torturing people with cold. That's like, yeah, there's good information there. It's just really, really painful. All right. Major ethical issues. Yeah, I just did that a little bit. Research results, how they're reported, understand function of literature review. That's kind of an overview one that you look at in a lot of classes. How many of you have done literature review before? Ooh, okay, we'll work on that. That'll be one of those assignments. Basically, what literature review is that's where you go into that body of literature for your topic and start pulling out all the research that's related to it so you can understand. Think of it like a book that's not yet been written, but all of its parts are out there floating in the internet. Kind of what you're doing, right? I'm gonna go read all these things, condense all the things down, and then report it. So instead of reading, 100 articles, I read 3 pages, right? That kind of thing. That's what literature review does. To some degree, it also sets up what you're going to do, but we'll work on that. Demonstrate reading. You can read. Yeah, you got that one done. What that's talking about is proficiency in reading academic articles. We go into the methodology sections and the science side of it. You can actually see what they're doing and understand it. We'll get to that. Don't worry about that. Chapter 1's open. It's just basic bare bones stuff there. Let's see. Meet your faculty. That's me. And earlier I already mentioned this already. My cell phone number. Actually, it's not on that one. Interesting. It's on any email that you've gotten from me. It's on the notices. It'll be in the syllabus. When we get into that, make sure that you, if you need to get a hold of me, it's hard to get a hold of me. Very busy. Send me an email. If you're lucky, I'm right at my computer. I saw it and I'll respond. What usually will happen? I didn't see it. 15 minutes has gone by. I don't see it anymore. Right, so it might happen like that. And if that happens, you give it 2 days. You haven't heard a response. Forward it back to me. You don't get a response from that, go to the cell phone, send me a text. Hey, this is so I sent you an email. The hell. Okay, yeah, I'll get off my ass and do something now. Right? Like, yeah, it's not that I'm not really sick. Sometimes I am. Those times are nice. But yeah, if you need to, bother me. Like that's what that's for. And there'll be some times where it's like, if you don't hear from me, well, just every now and again, just pop it back up. If it's something like low priority, that'd be like, oh, I've got a form I need to fill out. Okay, when do you need it? 3 months from now? God, I'm not doing that today. Okay. And so that kind of thing. Make sure you get in front of me as much as you can, because it'll be hard for me to make sure I keep everybody in front of me. That kind of thing. Try to keep my eyes on everything, but there's a lot to keep my eyes on. I couldn't tell whether that came over the speaker or was that was in the room. If that speaker thing right when you start talking. Next up, and to get those things talked about, go over here again, meet your faculty, talk about that. Definitely catfishing. Etiquette, you know how to talk to people, and you have computer access. If you have any issues with computer, that kind of stuff, let me know, and we can work around it. there, and we'll go into syllabus. This is your syllabus. It'll be the same syllabus for both classes. Yeah, literally the exact same one. I also have a link here for syllabus information, but it'll be in here too. And it always makes it impossible to read. So this is us. All right, so it's got 2 numbers listed there, 2 numbers listed there. Those will correlate. 3 credit hours, 2 different titles. But we're going over the same thing. It's just one's gonna get a lot more scrutinized. I like it. So there's that contact information, cell phone numbers there. We talked about that. To reach me immediately after class, I'm open. I was like, that's a good time. If you got something going on, you want to talk, like I'm just gonna be 1-4 up and over there. Otherwise, Tuesdays 9 to 3 is probably the best time to catch me. Unless I sleep in, it's gonna be 10 to 4. I'm telling you that. If I sleep in, I see like you don't see me at that time by like 9:30. You got that thing. You should be like, hey, you coming today? When I need that. I need that a lot. Okay, cool. Face to face, hybrid, or Zoom, or online. So you got Zoom for being here simultaneously with us. Actually, like try to be here in the classroom. If you can't be here physically, try to be here physically if you can. If you can't, that's a good approximate thing for it. If you can't do either of those, the class does get recorded, does get posted in Blackboard. So if you miss a class, you don't miss a class. But you miss the opportunity to spit the ball and that kind of things. And that will become important as we're developing projects. Because you're going to see very quickly, it's like, how many of you had theory yet? I haven't got theory yet. It's a spring course. Sometimes you'll have people that take theory first and then move methods. Theory is the other side of the ladder for this thing research. So what theory holds is it holds all of the concepts and propositions that you test across the field kind of thing to some degree. You don't get all the theories, of course. You get a general idea of what the main theories are. And so you get an idea for, okay, here are the general concepts in these different theories and their proposed relationships, propositions. Over here's where you come and test them. So here's where you start pulling out, okay, I'm gonna grab these data sets, I'm gonna start combining them. And then as I start to identify the relationships of things going on here, I start to understand how it works. And once I understand how it works, I can work it, right? That's the idea. If you do that, then you're in charge. That's kind of a scary thing. And so we'll start teaching you how to do that. Credit hour statement, that's the thing where it says you need to take time outside of class to focus in on class stuff. Time. I say time is money. It's like time's more important than money. You can have money, you can make more money, you can spend money. Time's always decreasing. So make sure you're spending it wisely. Remember, this is a transformative process. The more time you spend in it, the more you will transform. Quite literally. No, I won't go into anecdotes about that. I'll just put it that way. Meeting times. We're in it. If you need any other time, like particularly for those who are and just doing the strictly online stuff, you'll probably want to be scheduling meetings with me pretty quickly once we start moving into project stuff, because you'll find that you need it to get all the information you need to be able to tailor what you need to do. Tailor the project to your individual needs kind of thing. And so that's what we'll talk about there. I'll teach you how to do it. Most of you use things like Excel before, right? Yeah. You know how to use Word. You've got to use that before. Excel. I'll have you guys play around with Excel. Start to show you guys how to set up data sets to where you can run them. I'll show you how to gain access to some statistical programs that let you do so. I'll show you how to do that in a couple different ways. But we'll get into that when we get into it. From there, prerequisites none, unless you're the master. That still would be master, you just admitted. Catalog description, yeah, scientific research. Realize that the scientific method's only been around for a couple hundred years. That echoes technology to a large degree, the proliferation. Its application is mainstream use. It's this. The importance of this right here, methods, statistics. That's the reason why you guys are here today. Right? If it weren't for that, would you speak German, something like that? There have been no war lasting long enough for the atom bomb to be developed. So yeah, that one wouldn't have gone that way. Plus everything since. So this is important stuff. Let's see. I pace around a lot. Hopefully that doesn't bother anybody. I'm just high energy. A lot of caffeine. Let's see here. What could we talk about? Learning objectives, that kind of thing. Mouse right here. Okay, there's a whole bunch of them. Instructional methods, yeah, a bunch of that. Here's the book. You'll want it. There'll be times we go outside of the standard reading order. I'll be particularly early on. I'll be bouncing this around quite a bit because I'm going to teach you a whole lot of things. And some of these things, it's like you can learn it from a book like that, or then you could learn things like, well, like you do when you're in the real world, and it's like, okay, here's everything. You need to know it, put it in order. That kind of thing. So we'll work on that. Grade assignment says within 2 weeks. That's an ideal. That's going to depend on what it is and what's going on. I did not abide by that last semester at all. So if you've got stuff you turn in early, realize it's from the time it's due, not when you turn it in. It's like I try to, but like yeah. But if I open up like everything early and someone goes and submits section 3 and we're in section 1, I ain't grading that today. I'm lazy. I'm efficient because I'm lazy. There you go. If you have anything that you think is mistaken in grade, let me know. Right? That's conversation. It's like, you gotta get an argument. It's like, I might throw a punch your way to make a good argument. That matters. If you can argue, you'll have to argue at some point. At some point. Someone's gonna find an argument. Don't worry. It won't be me and you guys. It'll just in life in general, somebody will find an argument with you. Good golly. That reminds me of last semester. Found a lot of arguments with people. It was a lot of fun. I'll talk about that at some point here in a couple minutes, actually. Your grade is what you earn, not what I give you. I don't care about the points. I really don't. Some degree, I mean, the points there is a way to, same thing like the method stuff. We put the point system in place so that we have a way to put things on a scale. So we have a way to say that you are doing what we need you to do. I want to see growth. That's all I care about. Right? That's literally it. Go, do, that kind of thing. I can't give you the motivation. It's like having fun. I can't do that for people. I am fun. At least I find myself fun. Funny. Most people don't laugh at my jokes though, so it's just for me. All right, so here we go. 1 term paper. I didn't update this. I did have a term paper. I need to update that. It's a second error. Found 2 errors today so far. I do want to have a term paper. What will happen is these assignments and pop quizzes will feed in together. That'll be of less consequence for your graduates. You'll still want to do it because what it'll do is it'll give you a methodology if you want to go for a graduate degree. You'd already have one of your chapters written, or at least you wouldn't have it necessarily fully written. You'd have a framework for it and be able to refine it into it. Is what it'd be if you want that. For those of you who are in the graduate level, it's like that's what we'll be looking at there too. Is you'll have at least a framework to refine for a thesis if you want a thesis. You don't have to go thesis. You can go capstone. Capstone's a simpler process. If we've not talked about that, ask me about it because we'll need to have that conversation. For those of you who are undergrads, that's a whole bunch of terms that you really don't care about right now, probably. Basically, it's a research project across 2 semesters versus a final research written project kind of thing in your last semester. The full research project, you demonstrate a lot more skills and you open the door for PhDs. Because those are all going to be research intensive, every single one of them, which is where it's qualitative, quantitative, and this mixed method. Okay, so that's how that will work. Pop quizzes here because they may fluctuate if class starts, like numbers start dropping out, that kind of thing. What I'll do is we'll start having the classes or having quizzes in class kind of live. And so if you're watching it after the fact, you're online and you're watching it after the fact. Oh, what you want to do is you want to stop in the middle of that recording and write up an email and send it to me, right? And answer those questions, that kind of thing, depending on what it is, what I have you doing. And so that'll be one of those exercises that'll happen. So don't skip classes. I'll know. So like whenever you read this thing, make sure you read the syllabus like a book because I'll know if you don't. Across all my classes, I put in something in there that notifies me whether or not you read it because you will do something if you read it. It changes each semester. All right, next up is computer. Let's see here. So already showed you the mouse. No, I haven't shown you this. Okay, we need to keep going. Attendance, communication. Communication is a very difficult thing. Try to stay in communication with me. Let's see. What does it say? In general, he'll reply within 24 hours. I'm a liar. That's what I'm communicating right there. I try, but I lie. It's like, sometimes I'm not trying either too. That was me during the summer. I wasn't trying nearly as hard. Yeah. Okay. If it's the 11th hour, sometimes I mean that quite literally, because it's my favorite whenever I get like an email at 11 p.m. and someone's doing it at midnight. Like it's after 11. So it's literally the 11th hour. It's like, my internet's out. Yeah, I get that. Or I had this problem. It's like, yeah, that's fine. Usually I'll work with you. The only time that I don't is like, it's become such a habit it's gotten intrusive. That's gonna be like, after that's happened a number of times. It's not really the problem in there. It's gonna be more of the, so you're making a lot of excuses. Let's just deal with that directly. That kind of a thing. Because it's like, that will reflect across the classes. I'm gonna see you guys do the best. And I don't share excuses for anything. Let's see. If you have questions or problems, I might not be able to respond in time for you for that last minute kind of thing. I will try to, particularly if I know that something's going on. But life's as chaotic for me as it is for you guys, sometimes more so. It's chaos. Try to be proper with your format for communications. I'm not a particular strict stickler for that, but it is a good practice to get into. If you start writing formally, eventually what happens is it'll become natural, as in like you'll just naturally do it without thinking about it, then writing's easier for you if you have to start sending an email or communicating in the work environment, because you will have to do that. From there, where is there? Lost it there. Academic policies, student support, complaints, that kind of thing. Yes. Great appeal. So right here, student support and complaints and that kind of stuff. I'll just stop right here. So the first thing I'd say is always know what what type of support you have available. Also go and look at your student handbook. That's something I recommend to everybody the first day of class. Make sure you look at your student handbook, anything there, because predominantly look at the table of contents if you don't actually read it, because then you'll at least know what's in there and the things that you have to abide by. That's one of those conversations in policing. We were just talking about that a second ago. Your generation is going to be more scrutinized than mine was, and mine was more than the previous generation. That's not going to get better, probably. That might get worse, honestly. As of right now, it looks as if your behaviors outside of the classroom, outside of the university themselves, can get you in trouble for it at the university. It's like that's kind of it's one of the social credit kind of things that really kind of scares me a little bit. It's like not necessarily a good thing, not a bad thing, because you do need to have some way to kind of keep people invested and to keep them moving in a good direction. So yeah, not good. Processes here for complaints. It starts with any way you should normally handle a complaint. You go first you have a problem with, right? For classes, yeah, that'd be me. Hopefully, won't have any problems with me. I usually don't have problems. Every now and again I do. But usually it's resolved here. Most of those are actually resolved at that level. If it doesn't, you then move up to the department chair, dean's office, that kind of a thing. What I will tell you to do is if you're in this area, particularly if you're considering the grade appeal thing, I used to be involved in those, and those things, it's like a lot of them that whenever they get final answers, versus like a lot of them are just people are ticked off and want to be angry because they didn't do something right. Not always though. Sometimes it's like, yeah, you got something really messed up going on there. It's like, yeah, this is how you resolve that. What I would recommend you do is if you are thinking about that, this is a formal process. This is an informal process here for the complaints kind of thing, until you get to where is it right here? Yeah, you're gonna file next session. This is the informal one where you go to meet with people. The formal one will require their signatures. Take the form with you. We only need to do it once. You won't want to meet with them again if it's not going well. That's one thing. Hey, and that's good for you. Less potential negative interaction with people, that kind of a thing. But what it does is set you up to where it's just easier and smoother. Very, very, very rare. Those things really are. My favorite one I ever saw was a graduate level one from different university. I believe it was engineering, if I remember correctly. One of the engineering fields. 10 students, graduate students, all of them failed. Like, yeah, no, No, that doesn't work like that. Someone has the ability here to pass because, their abilities beforehand hadn't been held to issue. What happened there? Person in each class. Okay, we figured that out. Grade appeal. Yeah, maybe the grade just gets changed. Maybe there's something else there that takes place. There's all kinds of things there. Works like a trial process though. It's really cool because everybody gets to make their case and everyone looks at it like, okay, yeah, something's messed up over here. And they figure that stuff out. It's a lot of fun. Let's see here. Ooh, calendar with due dates. Keep in mind, you might have to read ahead for a quiz. Yeah, that's gonna be the case with this one, definitely. So it starts out here with, it says chapter 1. Realistically, what will happen is I'll take next class to be talking about some of the underlying things here that we need to talk about that won't be in the book. Might even talk some philosophy. That's how bad some of the stuff is. It's like logic and reasoning matters that much. The philosophy comes back into the mix. At any rate, ideally, one chapter per week. We'll get behind in this first section and one of catching up is what will happen because that's just always what happens. It takes longer for me to set the stage for everything for it to go off smoothly. And so the thing of consequence, though, is it's like quiz 1, silent quiz, midterm exam. It's a little early for a midterm exam. It is a little early. I might actually push that exam itself off a little bit. But the importance is this right here. So this week, the week of September 30th, it's actually, I think, first to third, Southwestern Association of Criminal Justice. If the opportunity presents itself, I'll look to bring an opportunity for you guys to present if you want that opportunity. There's a lot of things in flux there. I've been working on that one for a while. I'll tell you a story whenever we get done talking about it. And so, long story short is there's some question as to the health of the organization itself on a financial standpoint because of some stuff that had happened with some previous executive board members. Now, as a result, it's been a big time crunch in terms of what the finances are actually doing. So now that I've actually got some of that information, I'm starting to straighten out some of it. But now it's going to be trying to get me rally up and everyone's kind of seen what's been going on very publicly. And I'll talk about that in a second. So that's one that it may go off really well, or it may actually go away before it gets there, before we get to that point in time, because there have been some people who have been making some really concerted efforts to actually kill that organization. I'll talk about that more in a minute. But if that opportunity is there, we'll bring you there, because that one would be in Fort Worth, Texas. Not that far to go, and so it'd be really close and get you in front of 6 states worth of people. Just basically, overnight kind of thing. So good opportunity there. If it manifests, right now it's like, I'm hoping it manifests. Like after we get through this thing. And so by the time we get to this point in time, basically all that's left is you got a few more quizzes. It'll pop up randomly. Yes, I only have 8 there. Really, it's 8 for this one. Other class had 10. The bulk of it will get completed by this point in time. There'll be a few more sections related to specific like analytical techniques and that kind of stuff. But you won't necessarily need that for here. We'll talk about that. So basically, in this class, what I want you to do, shall we get 1134. Excellent. I have a hard time getting people to find things that interest them. What is it you want to spend a semester diving into? What is it you want to spend enough time refining skills with, put an investment into, and hopefully have something you can take with you beyond just the fact that you refine your own skills, right? One of the most interesting things about education and about work, when you work a job, it doesn't matter what you are. It's like you'll start in one position at some point in time, you'll get an opportunity to move up. The next job you get, the overlap between that and your previous job might be this, might be 0, right? And so what is it you take with you when you move over? Right? If you remember when we were talking about probably not semester, the semesters talk about the value of education. It's like, the only thing you really take is what you learned at that time, how you sped yourself up and all those types of things, how the thing works to some degree. Now, if you plan it right, this doesn't have to be like that. It's gonna be something where it's like, I'm building something, I can take it with me. Whether you're talking about data sets, maybe lines of research, that kind of stuff. If you find an area that really interests you, it's like you can plug yourself into it and start building your information, your knowledge on that subject area. And then before you know it, you got some time in there, year, something like that. Guess what? You start getting close to where you have content mastery over that. It's like, that's what we start looking for. That's what I mean. It's like, this is a transformative process. It takes time though, because you are literally learning bodies of research, bodies. This is how, this teaches you how to start doing that to some degree. If you're gonna functionally check to see if it's right, the theory side teaches you a little bit about what's already out there to some degree. And so the question I ask for you all is the following. If you had all of the powers from on high for one moment, only change one thing, what is it? Don't answer that yet. Think about it. All right. Next class, I'll have that and a few other things I ask you for. Send me an email. Because what I'll do is I'll take that. And I've been asking people that. And the areas that they kind of start identifying and start pointing them up over there. Start doing the same thing with you guys. Realize that there are some limitations there for what data is already available. And with this, particularly with that time frame, it's like you're not going to go out and collect your own data. But there's a lot of stuff that's already available. You can start to get into a whole lot of stuff. Start teaching you how to do that. The overlap with Sherlock Holmes, inductive and deductive reasoning. We'll talk about it when we get to class, but it's that ability to start. I see something here. I see something here. I see something over here. How do these things start stacking together? Can I build something out of it? What am I pulling out of it? Am I going to pull out something different? This class is how to fish, not where the fish are. The other classes are where the fish are. It's like, I want to learn about policing class. I want to learn about law, okay, law class. Corrections, you can take that one too. This one. How does everyone do that? That's what we're gonna do, okay? Some is pretty simple, but when you get into it, the math side does get complex. I won't spend a whole lot of time going over the math side. I'll explain it to you so you can kind of see it, how we look at it. But when it gets to the math side, if you really want to get into it, we can go out on that, but that'd probably be more like a one-on-one thing. If you really want to get into it. Okay, here you go. You know, that kind of thing. From there, main stuff I want to talk about in this class, and I'll tell you about what this. So then I am not happy with. Basically what I'd like to do is see, like, we start aiming our weapons towards that and really change the field, make it a little better place. It's like there's a lot of things wrong with society. I saw some things that were wrong over here, and I had some things that were done that were wrong. Basically, what I'm collected as treasurer. You're supposed to disclose all of your financial records at that point in time. Complete refusal to complete. Like, that's not good. Okay. What that does is that deprives me of any ability to know who's actually involved in this group, what kind of membership payments they're making, how fiscally responsible, all that kind of stuff. While I've been doing that, was able to get some information, provided some budgets for them, that kind of stuff. What's funny is the overlap between budgetary preparations and the same processes you use here, you can use the same ones. So it's literally, it's like you can learn finance, you can learn any one of these things to solve this process. Process of establishing structure. You can walk off into the dark and not know anything and come out with information. They pulled a whole bunch of crap. After they attacked me and I sounded off in a very public fashion about the person who attacked me in a very not nice way, they then threatened me with litigation. That one's been fun. I haven't seen any because what I said is true. And then the money that they had in the bank accounts, they tried to close the bank accounts. They sent me a cashier's check for like 10 grand, 11 grand, like fucking money. Evil is what it was. They're trying to destroy the organization because they've done some things that were wrong and they don't want anybody to know. Is essentially what it is. They'd rather destroy an entire organization than, hey, here's what I did that was messed up. Okay. As a personality trait kind of thing, if you're in this discipline, that's a no-go. Don't ever act like that. You don't ever do that. But, what will end up happening there is if we can keep it going, that'll be a really cool one to go to. So what you're gonna see there is you're gonna see a whole lot of people who are highly invested in the region if we get it going. And those are the people who actually want to do the work. Because the ones who put themselves before others have been identified. So that's gonna be kind of there'll be some drama involved in that one if you get an opportunity to go to that one, probably. Not directly involving you, but it'll be something that's like, you might hear some stuff. And what you'll see is some of the same problems you're seeing in the world, why it's falling apart. Here's where you start fixing it. And how you start fixing it's gonna be, you can do it here, but really it's this process. The more of you that do this, the better the world will get. Why? Because you'll start fixing things. As you go, whether it's something like this, I'm working on a project here, okay? That project, I'm using data from UCR. You guys know what the UCR is. Okay, well, that data came from the OSBI, so the State Bureau of Investigation. So I can kind of talk to the feds a little bit about this data set. I can also go to OSBI and talk with them, okay? As I'm working on it, they've got goals. If I can start to align what I'm doing with their goals, well, look at that. You start to reinforce the systems as they work, and they actually start to do what they're supposed to do again, right? That's how you start doing it. And so that's our goal. Let's start fixing the world. You pick your topic, right? That's what I want you to do. We'll see what we can do with the time that we have. We'll see what data is available there. And then from there, we'll see what directions we need to take things. The math side of it, it scares people. Don't let it. Most of that stuff looks like this anymore. Actually, do I have any of that in here? I don't know if I do. I think I'd have to sign into the desktop. I'll show you that stuff at some point, how to access different programs, things of that nature. Basically what you start getting at is a lot of it's point and click anymore. A lot of the programs that they have available, they're not like whenever I was in your shoes. A lot of those I'd actually have to go in and tell the program how to actually read the data file, like literally read it. And I'll show you how to do that too. Less of a skill you need today for that, but if it gives you just complete junk, but data sets like you can still do something with, right? As for that, let's see, skills, data is going to be a big one. Holding multiple thoughts in your head at once is going to be a big one because as we start crossing, you deal with any topic and you deal with just how we measure it and the different places that it manifests, like the levels of, like, think about it this way. Talking earlier about psychology is individuals, sociology is groups, okay? How many different levels of groups do we have? Oh my goodness, right? Those are all the different opportunities those whatever issue you have has to move differently. It's change. To some degree, what we'll do is I'll start showing you the difference between stability and change. You see what changes, you see what moves, you can move fast. And that's really good. Also, you identify what's stable. You identify things that are stable. Sometimes you need to move those things, sometimes you shouldn't. And so you just kind of see how it's stuff will feed together. In terms of anything else I need to tell you, guys have any questions for anything? Sounds like fun so far? This one's gonna be fun. I think I'm actually gonna go a little bit wild with this one. I might bring in some video clips from classroom, funny things that I've seen over time. Because to some degree, you have the math side, you have the logic, you have the reasoning, plus you have everything that exists as it is, and all those things have shapes. And so at certain points in time, what I'll do is we might have a conversation about numbers, we might have a conversation literally about shapes. And there are times where some of the stuff that we do is quite literally, it's almost like you guys remember the kids' toy, it's like square peg, round hole. It's literally like that at times. So if I said bell curve, you guys know what I'm talking about. That's literally what they start doing with that kind of stuff. You start looking at the shape of it. You see how those shapes manifest, how they fit together, and how things, if you move to a different topic, those people that are involved or whatever it is, reshuffles itself a certain way. That shape will change. How it reshuffled itself across those things. Those are those relationships we start pulling out. And since we're looking behind whatever it is we're actually trying to look at, you see a whole lot more. Probably the best way I like to compare it to is that little painting of a person who's got the apple right in front of their face, because that's what it is. In this class, with everything that we deal with, it's whatever concept you're measuring, whether it's crime itself or whatever it is, it's, you know, there's everything that it is. What the math side does is it lets you look at and basically what's right behind it. See all the people there, start looking at the differences between people and those differences between people underneath. Start making those connections across different things. Eventually it builds a structure of something functioning. Then you see something different you never saw before. And so that's what we'll do. We'll do that a lot. With that, I don't have anything else for you, and I kept here for almost the whole time. Next class, what we'll do is, we'll talk about that one thing. And, from there, what we'll do is, I'll set the task for what I want from you by probably next week, kind of things like information about you, what you want to do, that kind of thing. So what we'll do is I'll align your interests with what you want to do, and if you don't know, we'll start looking at that. From there, we'll then start pulling into data. We'll start talking about these things, but we'll move off to philosophy first. Probably talk a little bit about two of the ones that come up the most in here will be Descartes and was it Schrodinger's cat? That's a fun one to play with. Is the cat alive or dead? Well, if you don't know, it's both, right? That's kind of the way you have to deal with it sometimes. And so we'll pick up with that on Wednesday. How's that sound? Looking for fun? Wait till I say it task. We're gonna take over the world. That's what I want to do. World domination. I've told you that before. I'm not kidding. But it's only gonna be the good ideas. It's not actually us. That's what I want. It's like, let's stop doing stupid stuff. Let's fight the war on stupidity. That's what this thing does. So let's do that. Yeah. Probably my favorite thing, I'll leave with, it's been attributed to H.G. Wells. It wasn't him who said it. He said something else, paraphrasing this. The ability to understand statistics will be as essential as the ability to read and write. It's already there. In fact, if I said politics, if I said politics and polling, you don't know statistics, the hell is that? This person's favored 43% to 44 plus or minus 2. It's like, how does that mean? Right? That's how vital that stuff is. But we'll pick up with there next time. Have a great day. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll kick off the races real fast next class. So get ready to start learning. Cool. See you next time.